What happens when two iconic figures, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, and Meryl Streep, a Hollywood legend, clash on a single talk show, with provocative host Joy Behar pouring fuel on the fire? This moment went down in television history as one of the most explosive conflicts on The View. The studio, filled with anticipation, the hum of cameras, and an eager audience, became the stage for a drama that divided viewers and set the world talking. No one was prepared for what happened next. Bright spotlights flood the stage of The View, where colorful sets and cozy chairs create a deceptively friendly atmosphere. The live audience buzzes with excitement, phones at the ready to capture every moment. In the background, the clatter of camera cranes moving into position echoes faintly. In the control room, producers exchange rapid instructions through headsets, while the green rooms backstage hum with activity. Today is a special day. Meghan Markle and Meryl Streep are appearing together to promote their new projects. Meghan's second season of her Netflix series with Love, Meghan, and Meryl's new film centered on social change. The atmosphere in the studio is electric. The audience whispers, recalling recent headlines, criticism of Meghan's series as too staged, and rumors of tension with other celebrities who allegedly view her projects as superficial. Meryl, known for her restraint and depth, commands admiration, but her recent comments about the importance of authenticity in art have been interpreted as veiled criticism of projects like Meghan's. Can Joy Behar, notorious for her sharp tongue, keep the conversation cordial? The cameras roll, and the show begins. Joy Behar, in a vibrant red dress, stands center stage, her smile radiant but her eyes glinting with mischief. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a real treat. Two incredible women changing the world in their own way, Meghan Markle and Meryl Streep, she announces, and the audience erupts in applause. The other hosts, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Ana Navarro, smile from their seats at the table, though their eyes betray a hint of unease. Meghan enters first, in an elegant cream dress, waving warmly to the audience. Meryl follows, in a simple yet sophisticated black suit, her posture exuding quiet confidence. Meghan, congratulations on the second season of With Love, Meghan! Joy begins, her voice overly sweet. And Meryl, your new film is a true masterpiece about the fight for justice. Tell us about it. Meryl speaks deliberately, with a touch of passion, describing how her project tells the story of activists risking everything for change. The audience listens, rapt, as cameras zoom in to capture her expression. Then Joy turns to Meghan. Meghan, your series is quite different, isn't it? Cooking, friendly gatherings, lifestyle. But some call it a bit superficial. What do you say to that? A hush falls over the studio. Meghan tenses slightly but maintains her smile. I believe that joy and connection aren't superficial, she responds, her voice soft but firm. My project is about sharing love through simple things, like a shared meal. Joy raises an eyebrow, her smile sharpening. But Meghan, don't you think that in times when the world needs real change, cooking is a bit, how should I say, a distraction? Sarah Haynes shifts uncomfortably in her chair, and Sunny Hostin shoots Joy a warning glance. Meryl, seated nearby, tilts her head slightly, as if pondering Joy's words. The audience murmurs quietly, sensing the rising tension. Meghan takes a deep breath, her fingers lightly gripping the edge of her dress. I don't think joy and activism are mutually exclusive, she says, her voice steady but laced with steel. My series is about finding meaning in everyday life, and I believe that can inspire. The audience applauds, but Joy doesn't back down. Interesting that you mention meaning, Joy says, her tone turning sarcastic. Meryl, you recently spoke about authenticity in art. Do you think projects like Meghan's are true art, or just, well, an attempt to capitalize on a brand? Cameras swing to Meryl, who raises her eyebrows, clearly caught off guard by the question. Someone in the audience gasps. In the control room, producers exchange anxious glances, one whispering into a headset. Joy, be careful! Meryl clears her throat, her voice calm but weighty. I believe art takes many forms, she begins, choosing her words carefully. But authenticity is key. If a project reflects someone's true values, it has a right to exist. Her response seems diplomatic, but Meghan shifts slightly, as if sensing an underlying jab. The audience whispers, and someone pulls out a phone to record. Joy, sensing an opportunity for drama, presses harder. Meghan, your series has been criticized as self-indulgent. People say you're just trying to showcase yourself. Meryl, with your experience, can you say if that's true? The studio falls silent. Ana Navarro tries to intervene. Joy, let's talk about the positive impact of their projects. But Joy waves her off. Meghan's lips tighten, her eyes glinting with restrained emotion. I disagree that my project is about self-indulgence, she says, her voice trembling but firm. I'm sharing what matters to me: community, love, connection. I'm sorry that some see it as an excuse for criticism. The audience erupts in applause, but Joy isn't done. But Meghan, don't you think Meryl, for example, is doing something more substantial? Her film is about real change, not baking cookies with friends. The words land like a blow. Meghan glances at Meryl, searching for support, but Meryl remains silent, her face unreadable. Sarah Haynes tries to defuse the situation. I think both are doing something unique. But her voice is lost in the tension. Meghan slowly turns to Joy, her posture straightening. Joy, I respect Meryl and her work. But why pit us against each other? Why can't we just support one another? Her voice is firm but carries a hint of pain. The audience applauds, but Meryl, who has been silent, finally speaks. Meghan, I'm not against you. Meryl begins, her tone calm but tense. But I believe that in times when the world needs depth, we must be careful about what we promote. People want truth, not just pretty pictures. Her words, though softly spoken, feel like an accusation. The audience gasps, someone whispering. She said that. Cameras zoom in on Meghan's face, capturing a mix of shock and hurt. Meryl, are you serious? Meghan's voice trembles, but she holds herself together. You think my project is just pretty pictures? I pour my heart into it, trying to show that joy isn't weakness. Why can't you, with all your experience, support that? The studio falls silent. Only the hum of cameras audible. Joy, sensing the situation spiraling, smiles, but her eyes betray panic. Sunny Hostin tries to intervene. I think we can all agree that both are doing something important. But Meghan and Meryl lock eyes, the air between them crackling with tension. Producers in the control room whisper. This is going viral. The audience sits frozen, waiting for what comes next. Meghan rises abruptly, her heels clicking on the floor as she steps toward the edge of the stage. I came here to talk about my project, not to have it belittled by you or anyone else, she says, addressing Meryl but throwing a challenging glance at Joy. If you think joy and connection aren't important, then I'm sorry for you. The audience erupts in applause, but some look shocked, whispering among themselves. Meryl, maintaining her composure, responds, Meghan, I didn't mean to offend you. But we all have a responsibility for what we put into the world. Her words sound sincere but carry a hint of superiority, further fueling the fire. Joy, sensing she's losing control, tries to steer the conversation. Okay, let's talk about your project some more. But Meghan is already turning toward the exit, her face burning with anger and hurt. The studio freezes. Operators frantically switch cameras, producers whisper into headsets, and the audience pulls out phones to record the moment that's sure to go viral. Will Meghan walk out? Will Meryl push back? And how will Joy salvage this drama? The View studio is frozen in suspense, the air thick with emotion. Meghan Markle stands at the edge of the stage, her heels still echoing in the silence, her eyes blazing with a mix of anger and hurt. Meryl Streep, maintaining her calm, sits at the table, but her pursed lips betray an inner struggle. Joy Behar, the host who sparked this conflict, tries to regain control, but her smile looks forced. The audience, holding their breath, awaits the next move. Cameras hum, operators capture every facial expression, and producers in the control room whisper in panic. This is already viral. What happens next will go down in television history. Meghan turns back to Meryl, her voice trembling with restrained emotion but resolute. Meryl, I respect your career, but your comment about pretty pictures was a low blow. Do you really think my efforts to bring people joy are frivolous? Her eyes glisten, as if fighting back tears, but her posture remains proud. The audience responds quietly, some whispering, "She's right." Others hold up phones, recording every moment. Meryl sighs, her gaze soft but steely with resolve. "Meghan, I don't doubt your intentions," she says, her voice calm but each word carrying weight. "But we live in times when the world needs more than just feel-good moments. People want truth, depth, change. I'm only saying we all need to be responsible for what we create." Her words, though not directly accusing Meghan, place Meryl on a higher moral ground. The studio feels the shift, and the tension thickens. Joy Behar, sensing an opportunity to stoke the fire, jumps in. "Meghan, Meryl has a point, doesn't she? Your series is about lifestyle, luxury, that, well, let's say Instagram aesthetic. Don't you think that's a bit disconnected from reality when people are struggling to survive?" Her tone is sarcastic, and she raises her eyebrows theatrically, seeking support from the audience. Some gasp, but others nod, as if agreeing with Joy. Sarah Haynes tries to defuse the situation. "Let's not pit them against each other. Both are doing something important in their own way," she says, but her voice is drowned out by the tension. Sunny Hostin adds, "Meghan, tell us more about how your series brings people together." But Meghan seems not to hear. Her gaze shifts between Joy and Meryl, and she takes a step forward, her hands trembling slightly. "Joy, you want ratings, I get it," Meghan says, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. "But using me to belittle my work and asking Meryl to back you up is low. Meryl, I thought you, of all people, would understand that art isn't just about struggle but also about joy and connection. Why can't you see that?" The studio is filled with the hum of cameras, operators zooming in to catch the tear glistening in Meghan's eye. Meryl opens her mouth to respond, but Meghan raises a hand, stopping her. "No, let me finish," she says, her voice gaining strength as the studio falls into dead silence. "I'm tired of people judging my work without understanding its purpose. My series isn't just pretty pictures. It's about finding light in dark times, bringing people together at the table, reminding us that we're all human. And if you, Meryl, think that's not substantial, then maybe you've lost touch with what it means to be human." The audience erupts in applause, but some look shocked, whispering among themselves. Meryl, her eyes widening slightly in surprise, purses her lips. She rises slowly, her movements deliberate but tense. "Meghan, I didn't mean to offend you," she says, her voice soft but firm. "But I stand by my point. As public figures, we have to use our platforms for something greater. I respect your intentions, but I believe in the power of truth, not escapism." Her words sound like a challenge, and the audience gasps again, sensing the conflict has reached its boiling point. Joy, realizing the show is slipping out of control, tries to intervene. "Okay, let's all calm down. This is The View, we're here for discussions," she says, but her smile is strained. Producers in the control room whisper into headsets. "Keep the cameras on them." Ana Navarro adds, "I think we can all agree both are doing something special." But her words are lost in the tension. Meghan turns sharply to Joy. "You want a drama, Joy? You got it. But I'm not going to stand here and justify bringing people joy." She rips off her microphone, the click echoing in the studio like a gunshot. Then she turns to Meryl. "I respect your work, Meryl, but I'm sorry you don't see the value in mine." With that, Meghan spins around and heads for the exit, her heels clicking loudly on the floor. The audience erupts, some applaud, others shout, "Stay!" and many are already posting videos online. Meryl remains standing, her face impassive but her eyes betraying a mix of sadness and resolve. Joy, visibly flustered, tries to salvage the situation. "Well, that was unexpected. But let's talk to Meryl about her film," she says, but her voice sounds weak. Sarah Haynes and Sunny Hostin exchange awkward glances, while Ana Navarro mutters, "That was too much." Security appears near the stage, but Meghan is already disappearing behind the curtains, her silhouette visible in the dim light of the hallway. The studio buzzes with whispers and applause. Phones in the audience flash, recording the moment that's already going viral. Social media lights up with hashtags like hashtag Meghan vs. Meryl and hashtag The View Drama, as clips from the show rack up thousands of views in minutes. Producers in the control room are in a frenzy, but one smiles. This will break viewership records. The clash between Meghan Markle and Meryl Streep on The View became one of the most talked about moments of 2025. Some rallied behind Meghan, believing her passionate defense showed the strength of vulnerability and the importance of joy in tough times. Others sided with Meryl, arguing her call for authenticity and responsibility was justified. Joy Behar faced backlash for her provocation, but The View shattered viewership records. Social media erupted in debates. Was Meghan right to defend her project? Was Meryl too harsh? Did Joy cross the line by fueling the conflict for ratings? This moment reminded the world that art and activism can coexist, but also highlighted how easily society pits women against each other. What do you think of this conflict? Did Meghan do the right thing by walking out? Was Meryl justified in emphasizing responsibility? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to stay updated on stories that challenge our views on strength, joy, and truth.